Yo, what's going on, y'all? Today we have another VoD review. This one I'm pretty excited for. It's my girl Pharah. I'm getting butterflies already. Anyway, alright, you're playing Pharah without a mercy. I think this is plat Pharah. So you're playing Pharah without a mercy. We're seeing a plat hit scan. I think the other DPS goes Hanzo, right? Enemy DPS. Okay. Enemies running Rhine, Hog. At this point, spam tanks. That's all I'm doing. Start of the game, I'm spam tanks, and well, you started the game off with no fuel, which is bad. Pre-match, like with 5 seconds left on the pre-game clock, what I'd do, I'd be standing up here. And when there's maybe 3 or 4 seconds, maybe 3 to 2 seconds, whatever, rocket jump off here, and just gain some height. Use this slant to conserve your fuel, because you fall down this slower than if you just go down, especially if you're rocket jumping. Like, use rocket jump. Sure, you'll lose 40 HP, but you'll gain height, and that'll be really good for keeping fuel, which is really important with new Pharah because her fuel regeneration rate has been decreased, obviously. So, rocket jump off that, and use these roofs as both cover and ways to regain fuel. Additionally, on that bridge against Brig, Ana, Roadhog, Ashe, those are 4 very boopable characters. Brig and Ana more so than Hanzo and Ashe. Roadhog, obviously very boopable, and then Rhine's kind of hard to boop because of, you know, steadfast, but either way, I'd be looking for those boops on the bridge. Now here, I don't like this because you don't have any immediate cover from the enemy team if they decide to go out top left. You don't know what the enemy's DPS are. You hear an Ashe, you don't know that the other DPS isn't a Widow. If a Widow comes top left, you're fucked. That's why I prefer, in the beginning, at least till I know what their DPS are, I sit back here. Scout, poke, maybe a small charge, find out what the enemy DPS are, and then I'll devise a game plan from there. I don't like this really aggressive angle you're taking. Good try in the boop, however, normally I don't like to just throw my boop out there instantly. Think about it from the enemy's perspective. If you're this red Reinhardt, you see the boop go, you see that Pharah waste her concussive blast, the whole team knows they could walk across the bridge for free now. Whereas if you saved it, you might not, you're not going to boop anything by saving it. However, you make the enemy play more passive. Like, does that make sense? Think about it from, let's just go Roadhog. If you save Hook, enemies are forced to play scared around you. If you use Hook, enemy starts pushing you because you wasted Hook. You take away a big threat by wasting Conch Blast here. I would have saved it for at least a little bit. Especially going for a boop on such a hard character to boop, I wouldn't do it. I would say for the Hog, maybe the Ana, the Brig, something like that. Alright, this is better positioning. Because if you get shot, you're not going to get one shot by the Ashe because she doesn't have mercy. So if you do get headshot, you can just peek around this. Go that way. Peek around that corner, and you're good. You can get heals. Additionally, your fuel management is really, really rough. Like I said, you could slide on the roofs to save fuel. You can, what's it called? Rocket jump on the roofs to gain fuel. Additionally, I would try to find high grounds to land on when I'm low fuel. This way you don't lose height, but you gain fuel. For example, if I know I'm low on fuel, I'll try to land here as opposed to here. Additionally, you use jump jet very, very leniently, and I don't like that. The way you use jump jet is you kind of, whenever you have it on cooldown, you use it to get your fuel meter back to like 60, and I don't like that. So what you want to do with Conch Blast most of the time is, or jump jet, excuse me, with jump jet, you float up a little bit, so you miss around maybe 40% of your fuel bar. Then you jump jet, and while you're jump jetting, you regain most of that fuel back. And then you can use that fuel again to save your height at the top. Anyway. So you see right here, you jump jet, and you have no fuel left. You go for another Hail Mary boop, and that's not really it. These are really bad angles, by the way. Pharah has really slow projectiles, and the whole point of playing Pharah as opposed to Hanzo is if you're going for these shots, from here to there, you might as well play Hanzo. Because think about it, your rocket has no backboard, because you're not high, you're not flying, so your rocket has to hit the person directly in order for it to deal damage. Because if there's a wall back here, they might not take the full 120, but they'll take, I think, what's the splash damage, like 60 or some shit? They'll take splash damage. Obviously, people don't stand around walls a lot. That's why Pharah has flying. You come high, you either hit a direct and deal 120, or you hit the floor around them and deal damage to them. So you want to get height and go for targets. Like going for these direct shots, not really high percentage shots against anybody, honestly. You don't really want to go for these straightaway shots as Pharah. Like this angle, much better. Careful for the hook. You're in Hog's LOS, just be careful. Oh, we shattered? Get aggressive. Big shatter. Okay. Decent try with the boop. I like the attempt, I just don't like the execution. Anyway, overextended Reinhardt, good target to focus. You're doing a good job here of using this cover to kind of, I mean, you're kind of in Ash's LOS, but you're blocking the Hanzo, blocking the Ana, and then the Brig technically blocking. This is a good spot, because you can shoot the enemy, well, without the enemy being able to shoot you. Good spot. Just be careful, because Hanzo's getting aggressive on you. You're going to want to, Conch Blast is really good against Hanzo, because it kind of fucks it. Really good aim there. Really good aim. Conch Blast is good against Hanzo and Ashe, because if you boop them with you, for example, if you're above them, like this is Pharah, this is Hanzo, and you boop the floor, you're going to boop him with you, so you both go this way. And you can line up your shot much easier than he could line up his. So if you boop him with you, it becomes like a really easy direct. Good try in the boop, but you're going to die here. Yeah, ran out of fuel. Okay. I'm not going to talk about big issues so far. I'm going to save those for the end, but I've already named a few of your big issues. Let's wait till your next life. It's been 6 minutes already? Yikes. Anyway. I think I fast forward a little too much. It's my fault. Alright. Back from spawn. Try to find enemy. Your team is engaged right now. Like, you have a ton of people engaged already. Like, your Mei is fighting. Your Bap is fighting. Your Ursa is kind of fighting. And you're off killing people that come back from spawn. This isn't the play. You need to help your teammates that are engaged, first and foremost. Whoops, ignore that. Going for the Rhine, not the best idea, because he's nanoed. You're going to deal fucking 70 damage to him. 60 damage. Less than 60, actually, if you're hitting armor. Don't go for the Rhine. Don't fall off the map again. Well, I know what tip number 1 is for you. Holy shit. But yeah, there, I would have helped my teammates that were engaged. You saw a hell of people fighting that Reinhardt, fighting the Bob on point. I would try to go for those threats that are engaged with my teammates. Another big reason for that, if your teammates are engaged, the enemy's putting their attention on them, you can get a few easy shots on them. Because while they're actively strafing your teammate, they're not going to be actively strafing you. I'm trying to do like a diagram. So, how do I describe this? See, these two people are fighting, okay? And they're both strafing side to side. They're pressing A and D on their keyboard, correct? Now, if you come from where my nose is, they're going towards my nose, aka towards you, and farther away from you. So if you just put a rocket in that path, they're going to walk into it. Because they're not actively strafing you, they're actively strafing the other teammate who's on a whole different plane. A whole different, like, they're perpendicular to you, if that makes sense. So, you want to come from kind of an off angle, like a straight up 90-degree angle, and your shots will hit much easier. Going for people who aren't focusing you. Anyway. Instead of shooting the Frozen Rhine, you're going for this. You could have shot the Frozen Rhine on your way, 100%. Anyway, look for Barrage here. Good job targeting Ana. Moira Fade, so I'll probably shift my focus to the Ashe here. Unfortunate. Okay, so. What do I like about that Barrage? I mean, you used it, which was good. A lot of people tend to hold on to ults in lower ranks, so that's good that you used it. However, you kind of just went in blind. You didn't know what was on that side of the choke. You didn't know where the enemies were positioned. And you're coming from a very obvious angle with a lot of distance. So coming from all the way up here, any enemy that's there can just shit at you. Like, they have hit scans. They could clap your shit. Additionally, focusing hit scan instead of the Ana might have been an okay idea, because if Ana sleeps you, that's, how do I describe this? If you stay in Barrage, you're gonna die. Whereas if you get slept in Barrage, your team might be able to help you and you get out. Just because you're on the floor, you're not taking as much attention when you're asleep. So getting slept or stunned out of Barrage is not always the worst idea. But you don't really want to go for blind Barrages like that. Like, if you have, swapping? Let's go. If you have Barrage, just let the situation line up. Don't force it. Like, look for the Barrage, obviously, but don't just int into the enemy team without knowing where anyone is. Anyway, Hound Shield's good. Terrible flash. Flashing Bob's useless. Don't do it. Same thing I said before with Conch Blast with Roadhog Hook. If you're down an ability, enemy will capitalize on the fact that you don't have it. A lot of the time when I'm versing your team Teddy, by the way, if any of you guys are watching and you're not Teddy, I often verse Teddy and his team. We capitalize on the fact that you guys don't have abilities a lot. Like, we'll see one of you guys waste maybe Ana nade, we'll focus the Ana because you don't have nade. So same thing with Flash, same thing with Conch Blast. You don't really want to waste it because holding onto it puts more pressure than the that's more valuable than the stunning Bob for half a second and then him doing nothing, you know? Anyway. Playing really close here, really close here. When would I have backed up? When they threw Bob, I would have backed up. I would have got around corners. Like, you have both heals alive, just play back. Maybe back left so you get LOS to the enemy. So like from here you can't really shoot enemies. From back here you can. You can shoot that Ashe, you can shoot the Rhine. Anyone who gets really aggressive, you can start shooting them. But you walk forward instead of walking towards cover. You don't want to get melee range with McCree. You want to get good angles so you can shoot the enemy from range. Because you get really up close and you get fucked by tanks and then an Ashe who is on offing. Let's see your next life.
It ain't my time.
Versing Echo into Ashe. Hog. Okay. If Hog gets really aggressive on you, I would want you to kind of save stun for his breather. Or his hook, obviously. If Hog uses either ability, stun him. If he's that close. But you shouldn't be that close. Alright, there. Echo's dead. You got a pick. Cool. I would be taking high ground here. You're not able to do anything from this angle. Like you're kind of AFKing, not really getting ult charge, not doing anything. Whereas if you went up here, you could take shots. You'll take some damage, sure. You won't die because they don't have a Widow or Hanzo. You won't get one shot. You'll take damage for sure, but then you can fall back and get heals. So, by you kind of playing AFK with your tanks, you're not protecting from flankers or anything. There's no reason for you to kind of play this passive. You can get much more aggressive against them. They have nothing to one-shot you. Watch the flank shatter. I'm gonna try in the stun. I would have done the same thing. I would have thrown that stun. Because if I see a Rhine walking through my backline like that, I'm assuming a shatter's coming. Anyway, because you're playing so close, so like backliney with your tanks, even though you don't have to peel for anything, you're getting shattered. You're taking unnecessary damage from tanks. If you go high ground, what can contest you? The Echo who just jumped off the map and the Ashe. That's about it. Good shots. Another good thing about high ground is you get a different angle of attack from your team, so you might be able to shoot over the shield, and anyone who's behind the shield, protected from the rest of your team, might not be protected from you. It's kind of a bootleg crossfire. Anyway, you have ult, no reason to poke. At this point, I would get set up on the high ground. Again, enemy doesn't have anything to one-shot you. Getting high ground is kind of more important, I would say, than this. Also, you have no shield. Like, I mean, yeah, Ryan came and shielded you. But God, you could have got clapped. A better team would have shooting you right here. The Gear shield goes down and you just YOLO it. What I like about Deadeye and what you should like about Deadeye is the fact that it has no damage fall off. So, someone who's right here, the damage will charge up the same as someone who's back here. So there's no reason for you to Deadeye this close. If your team's holding this close, imagine you're back here. You're charging Deadeye. You have a better angle. You can maybe shoot over the shield. If the enemy pushes up to maybe where your team is now, they have no cover. They have a shield, but there's no real cover by them. That's what I would have done with Deadeye. I would have sat back, let the enemy get into an open area, and then fuck them. You Deadeye really early here. You got a kill, sure. Like that was fine, but it wasn't ideal. Wasn't ideal. But you can go back to building another ultimate. Let's see. At this point, with double shield and you don't have ultimate, this is okay. Time to poke. Just I would start rotating back to high ground now, because if you stick with your team down here, you don't really have a super safe rotation. But if you sat up here while your team is getting pushed back, all you do is walk this way with no one to contest you, and then boom, another good angle. Enemy pushes even farther, boom, another good angle. Another good angle, excuse me. Enemy pushes even farther, boom, another good angle. Enemy pushes even farther, boom, another good angle. Like, playing high ground here gives you such a better angle than sitting low ground with your team. And there's nothing to contest you up there. Getting this close, you put yourself at danger of enemy tanks a lot. And throughout that whole fight, you really didn't do anything. You had no chance to shoot enemy squishies. Because their tanks are kind of pushing your shit in. But again, if you're a high ground, you would have probably killed this on already. Would have done a ton of damage to the Rhine. The Zarya, oh, voice crack. The Zarya probably would have fucked the Ashe because she's really easy to hit. You would have had a ton of roll charge, and you probably would have won the fight. And here, just retreat. I'm okay with you whiffed the stun on the Rhine because he bubbled. That's fine. It's no big deal. Again here, you just tunnel visioning straight. When instead, all you gotta do, come up here. Listen, if you're playing hit scan, fuck it. If you're playing hit scan and the enemy has nothing to really contest you, try your best to go to high ground. I'm sorry if that was like annoying. It's just I want something to be drilled into your head. High ground is fucking great as hit scan. It makes you really safe, and it provides another angle that your team isn't shooting from, which makes the enemy feel so much less safe. So you come here, you clap this sim easily because from that range, McCree beats sim. From any range, McCree beats sim, honestly. Because flashbang helps up close, and then from afar, she can't really hit you. Just careful turrets. Come to the high ground. Good. This is perfect. This is what I want to see. You're slept, that's whatever. That Junkrat's kind of... I was going to say you see the Junkrat, but if I was asleep, I wouldn't see that Junkrat either. But you should win that fight. Alright, so if you can't stun him and kill him, just fan the hammer. There's no shame in it. It's a guaranteed kill. There's no shame in stunning and fanning the hammer. Alright, your team killed their Rhine. You know your Rhine's going to get aggressive here because the enemy has no main tank. This is your time to push up and get this angle again. So how do I describe this? There's the difference between relevant high ground and irrelevant high ground. So, for example, and it depends where the fight's happening. So, if the fight's happening here, this is absolutely relevant high ground. This is relevant high ground. This is relevant high ground. Over here is relevant high ground. But, if the fight's happening where it is, this high ground might be good later in the fight, but it's definitely irrelevant to now. And where you are now is definitely irrelevant to the fight because everything's out of your LOS. But you drop off. Oh, you drop off. No. Junkrat, Sim, Moira on. God, they have nothing to contest you on a high ground, bro. Get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Please, you don't have to play with your tanks 24/7. You put yourself in so much unnecessary danger from high ground or from low ground, and you get way worse angles. I understand you're running double shield. You might feel like you have a big frontline advantage. Oh no. You might feel like you have a big frontline advantage. But like, I would still just play high ground because the enemy threats are all low ground based. Anyway, let's talk about this Deadeye. I'm only gonna review this round because it's already been 18 minutes. Holy shit. This Deadeye was really rough. You kill the Rhine, cool. Here, back it up. Reposition. Because if you walk forward, you're gonna get shit on because your main tank died. I know you have Bongo, sure. But you frontline, you walk in front of the shield to Deadeye is really, really bad. Do not trust Orisa shield. That shit is made of... That's Orisa shield, bro. That's what happens with Orisa shield. It doesn't exist. Especially against Junkrat Sim. You know how much fucking damage they put out, bro? Like, it's not worth standing behind Orisa shield. Don't treat it like a real shield. Take a different angle. Take a different angle. On Rialto second, there's so many relevant high grounds here that you could be doing so much work from. Excuse me. Like, you shouldn't be staring 4 to 5 enemies in the face right now. You shouldn't be getting cucked by Zarya bubbles. Because, like, if you're on high ground shooting backline threats, they're not going to turn on bubble. Well, let's see, do you guys win this fight? Nah, probably not. Alright, well, it's been 20 minutes, so I'm gonna stop it here and talk about 3 big things. So with your Pharah, your big issue so far was, God, fuel management, please. Practice Pharah. I don't know if you're new to her, but just play her a lot, learn how refuel works. I'm still relearning it because they changed the fuel rate, but the movement speed more than makes up for it. Plenty of high grounds for you to land on, to regain fuel, to fall down slower, etc. Use roofs, slants, any high ground ledges to rocket jump off of. This way you gain height without wasting fuel. Assume that your healers will heal you. In low ranks, they might not always, but you just say, Anna, I'm gonna rocket jump, can you heal me? And there you go. That's simple. So, big thing with Pharah was rocket jumping. Fuel management, use rocket jump to gain fuel, or to gain height, save your fuel, etc. I'm just gonna say 2 big things this video. Fuck 3. Number 2 with McCree is, God, please take some fucking high ground. Please, 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 please. Take some goddamn high ground, man. The enemy had no threats to you. If they had dive, sure, you want to play with your team. However, they're running Junkrat Sim. You're kind of allowed to go high ground and free farm. They really can't contest you unless they use conk mines from Junkrat or Sim TPs, or you get slept on some bullshit. But if you go high ground, you're free firing the enemy team the whole goddamn game. Remember what I said about relevant to irrelevant high ground? For example, this fight's happening here, so this high ground's pretty relevant. This high ground will be relevant because the enemy's going to start pushing into that area. When I say that area, I mean this. However, this high ground wouldn't be relevant to the fight that's happening over there because you can't see anything. However, if the fight's happening here, this is their very good high ground. I hope you understand the concept I'm trying to, convey? Hope you understand what I'm saying. Hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. And, you know, fuck it, we'll do 3. Another third thing is ability management. Don't just panic flashbang, don't just panic conk blast. Use it when you think you're going to get value out of it. Don't use it just on a Bob or a Reinhardt who's just, like, walking through, like, the middle of nothing without shatter. By you wasting abilities, enemy capitalizes on the fact that you don't have them. Like, for example, if this Ana wastes a nade, it's a free kill. If Moira wastes his fade, free kill, etc. So, be not very stingy, but be more stingy with your cooldowns than you are now. Because the enemy will capitalize on the fact that you don't have them, as opposed to just walking through your team because you wasted flashbang or you wasted conk blast. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the VoD review. If anyone watching wants a VoD review, let me know. Leave it down in the comments, and I'll get to you. I'll respond to you, whatever. Teddy, aka the guy I'm VoD reviewing right now. If you have any questions, let me know. Hit me up on Discord, whatever. With that being said, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.